Hey everybody, welcome to L.E.N.S, where we have real topics,
real conversations,
and real solutions.
Thank you all for joining us today. It is Sunday, May the 30th. And as you know, there's a lot going on right now in our society, United States, and across the world. And so we just want to take a few moments to just debrief with each other and with you all about what's going on. So we're going to share our own personal thoughts and how we're feeling, where our next steps are, and then we'll have something to reflect upon as we go forth. So Lynette, start us off. How are you feeling?
I think the best word to describe it would be tired. I think that it's exhausting waiting for something for as long as we have. And I think that it's beginning to just wear on everybody, wear on our emotions and our mental and our physical health, to just be able to constantly be pushed back when we really feel like it's time for something to happen. You guys know that I'm married to a Black man. I'm all the way Black, so I have a Black father. I have Black children. I have Black grandchildren. So surrounded by Black men and Black people in my life. And I feel like just watching just a perpetuation of a cycle happening, it's close to home. I watch it in the justice system with my own children, my husband, and I've watched it just with people that are close to me. I had a cousin who was killed in the prison system. He was only 22 years old, and it's 3 years later, and their excuse for not knowing why he was killed by the correctional officer was that they haven't had a full autopsy yet. And to think that that's acceptable in 2020 is just, like I said, we're just tired of those answers. We're tired of the injustice.
Right. So how are you, as a family, how do you all draw support from one another, being tired,
I definitely understand where you're coming from with that question, because I feel like that's where Black families really come together. When we're tired and we're exhausted and we're up against the wall, that's when we become more united than ever. And I was just telling my daughters, I said, hey, my coworkers one is in prison, in jail right now. They were arrested after being tear gassed. They went to Grady, and then they were arrested for going and protesting. And another one was shot with a rubber bullet. And I'm like, we need to come together and do this. They're standing out there for us. And I was so proud of my daughters. They're like, let's go and do it. Like, let's go out there and do it. And I felt that was so supportive to know that they see the issue, and we can just look at how it's affected this world and affected ourselves. And we're like, no, let's go out there and have a voice and join in and let people know that we're supporting each other outside of our home, and we're supporting each other inside of the home. I think the best way to support each other right now is to stand up and do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about for you, Naya? How's your take? You have, younger kids. So how's the impact been for you and your family, knowing that, Lynette, your kids and your family is a little bit older, while Naya, yours is definitely younger. So tell us your approach, you and your husband's approach.
So my boys are 4 and 7, and I have a 12-year-old girl. I haven't had these conversations with them. I try not to look at the news with them with this. We still just, everything's good. It's enough with them walking around talking about the virus still outside. And now, this. And so I just haven't brought myself to have those conversations with them about this yet. Like, it's real, it's there, I'm not there. And I think for me, it's because I'm still in that state of shock and speechless, even though this has been years that I've been looking at this, years that my mother's been looking at this, years that my grandparents have experienced this, you know what I'm saying? So, but I'm still in that shock, and I'm still in that place where it's like, at some points, I don't even know what to say or what to do or anything. So it's kind of like when my fears turn to tears, and, when my cries turn to lies, because they out there just doing stuff that we're not really doing. But it looks like it's us. I don't know. I'm just, and at this moment, I feel me. Like, the frustration is there,
right.
And I'm like, I don't even know what to say, where to go, or what to do. A lot of how I handle stuff is I put my pen to paper and I let it talk. And I just haven't had that moment to sit down and really filter through my feelings and my words.
Right.
And these are one of those things you're not going to see much of it on my social media page because I don't dive deep into that, because one thing I'm not going to do is try to educate the uneducatable. I don't have that in me. And I'm not going to sit here and debate with you about my reality. I'm not going to do it. Like, I don't know. And that's where I really feel like I don't know what to do, because I'm not going to engage in those. If you look at my timeline, you will believe that there are unicorns and leprechauns, because I delete foolishness real quick. And, you know, so I'm like, I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. And I know for me, I feel like I am waffling between being an observer and bystander of everything going on, to having the desire to be right in the mix, if that makes sense. So I can say I'm truly blessed to be able to live on my own and in a home, and be able to work from home. So therefore, I don't necessarily have to go out and engage. And but also there's a lot of guilt associated with that, if that makes sense. That it's not that I don't want to go out and engage. I feel that there are people that have been gifted to go out and engage and be on the front lines. There are people that are gifted to be behind the scenes and to edify and to build people on the front lines up. And then there are people that have to strategize and mobilize. And part of me is trying to figure out where my gifting is, if that makes sense, because I want to participate in all of those. And I think that I just was talking to Naya a little bit earlier, that I think that I'm afraid that we are getting into this place that we're playing checkers, and well, the game is truly chess. And we are just acting as a community, which I don't have any problems with, but realize that the action has to follow a strategy. Because right now that we're just replaying history over and over and over again. Like you were saying, that this is not a new thing. That's why you're fatigued, Lynette. That's why, you know, you're just in disbelief, Naya, is because we have experienced this before. You know, we can think about different times that this has happened before in our families, on the news. Like, this is not a new story,
Right?
Unfortunately. And this has been happening for generation and generation to come. So are we going to have a new strategy? That's my thing. Are we going to continue to do the same things that have happened in the past, but has it yielded type of results that we wanted? And when can we collectively, and not just talking about as an African American community, but as a community that believe in the same thing, that has the same values and the same beliefs, say this is our strategy going forward? Because right now, I don't see that. I don't, what is the national strategy? What is for people that feel like this is unjust? So that's where I get stuck in. You know, what's the strategy? So what we doing? Okay, that's great. I want to protest. Great. So what's next? After the protest, you know, do we go back to normal? You know, what's the next step? So yeah, we're telling people to vote, we're telling people to fill out their census, and all those things matter. But there has to be, when we vote, how do we keep the people that we put in office accountable? You know, what is the strategy? So that is where I'm all in my head. And when I think about all that, that's when I just fall like, I was like, that's just too much. So let me just roll over.
I just want to back it up a little before that. The go vote. Go vote for who? Do they even know who they're voting for? Who are these people that we're asking them to put in office? I think too often, me and my suburban house, and I'm just gonna say me because other people may relate to this, me and my suburban house are detached from the real people who out there on those streets. Yes, I'm a Black girl, but I'm not the Black girl that's out there protesting on those streets. We're not walking the same walk and talking the same talk. I've been through stuff, but I've not been through what she's been through. And so again, I get the go vote. I get the fill out your census. I get all of that. I'm on a different level of getting it. But the people we talking to may not be there. They may not even know who the heck they trying to vote for or what they voting for or what's going to change if they do vote for them, especially when they out here stealing elections every other year. Now what?
And if I can just jump in, I think what everyone is saying really is just like the Zoom that we're doing. You know, it's 3 different people in 3 different places doing 3 different things, living 3 different lives, but we're able to come together to be able to have a purpose in mind. That's what L.E.N.S is all about. Well, that's the same thing when it comes to when you're trying to get a resolve. It's not, you may not go out. Now, you may not be the one to go out and vote. Maybe that's not even you, Elena, or maybe you're not the person to protest, or maybe you're not the behind the scenes. It's about finding who you are and what you're supposed to be doing and do that well. So I think the mindset that I've been seeing is, oh, you're out protesting, but you're protesting this way. Oh, you're out, you're not doing enough, or just stop all that. Just
Right.
do what you're supposed to do and don't worry about the rest, because without the momentum of all the different moving parts, nothing's going to get done. And I think that is what people are trying to get out. So be careful, and even myself, with the whole, do this or don't do this or don't do that. Because the reality is that what I'm supposed to do and what I feel passionate about doing to get the resolve that I need, because I come from a different walk than maybe you or Elena, that's what I need to do. That's what I need to do to feel that I'm a part of this, and that the experiences that I have had and the people that are close to me and the people that I'm seeing dying in the streets, being murdered, I'm like, do something. I don't care if doing something is being silent and edifying somebody in your living room. If that's what you're supposed to do, that's what you're supposed to do. I was listening to a girl on Facebook, and she said she was comforted hearing from her grandmother that they did the same thing to them. So that's their walk. So I think the confusion comes in when we're trying to do a little bit of everything, or put our hands in every single pot, not understanding it's a potluck dinner. We're all going to eat. Let's just go ahead and do what we need to do, whatever that little piece may be, because it's really small pieces of a gigantic problem that no one person can solve, and no one way is going to resolve it. So I've seen injustice. I've asked police officers for their badge numbers and got arrested for disorderly conduct. I've watched them beat my boyfriend in the house because they thought he was selling drugs. I've been in the courtroom when my son asked for a trial because they wouldn't give him a fair plea deal, and they said, only places that we're equal is, in the grave and on the shitter. I've seen people say nothing but racist things, to where the bailiff had to take me out of the courtroom and say that it doesn't cost anything to be kind, because he watched the judge and the prosecutor say racial slurs the whole entire time, and have a jury of all white people expecting to get a just sentence, when that's where my passion is going to come from. So wherever your passion and your fire is coming from, feel comfortable, don't feel guilty, do that. Because every piece matters. The support comes in people taking action, whatever that action may be. So I think the judgment to the victims of the situation is one of the most frustrating things that I've ever seen in my life. Short from murdering someone for murdering somebody that you love, is short. So we're not asking for revenge. We're asking to stop dying. And I don't think I don't think there's a certain way we can figure out how to ask that when it keeps happening. So be careful when people are in pain, because it may be that person that you may not be able to say who to vote for. I just want to get you there, and then we'll figure that out later. It may not be the person that may understand how to protest. The numbers matter. I don't care when it comes to what people are trying to, express this certain structure or right way of doing things, when right is just stop killing people. We're not getting that. That's the reality.
So there are 2 things that you talked about, Lynette, that I would love for us to explore. The first thing is that how you were framing it up in the beginning about the different ways that people can engage. It kind of reminded me about the body of Christ and spiritual gifts.
Right.
Everyone is gifted in different ways, but we all make up the body. And what I was hearing from you was saying is that, how we look at this, think of it very similar to spiritual gifts, and that exercise your spiritual gift in whatever way
Right.
God has gifted you to to have momentum for this body to move forward in this cause. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Like I told someone the other day, you know, we need the Malcolms and we need the Martins, the same way we need the Peters and we need the Johns. We need the Jesus that is sitting with sinners, and we need the Jesus that's flipping tables. We need to understand that there's a balance to this, but it all can't be lopsided and everybody doing it the way that you would do it. How about understanding people are doing it the different ways that they feel they need to do it? And I believe there'll be a calm after the storm, but overall, something has to change. And strategy sometimes doesn't come into play sometimes until after the fact. I tell people all the time, it's just like, listen, it was a proclamation to free slaves given. It didn't free any slaves. It was given from the highest person, the president of the United States, and nobody freed any slaves. It took a war. It took following actions. It took revolts for people to understand that that freedom that had already been written out on a piece of paper, like our freedom has already been written out on a piece of paper, we were going to get it. We were going to have it. We were going to obtain it. And I think that's what people need to understand today is that, hey, there's lots of pieces to this puzzle, yet it's going to make a beautiful puzzle once all the pieces are in place.
Naya, were you about to say something?
I was just you know, still reflecting. Like I totally agree. Like everything does work together, and all I'm thinking in my mind is, as we go out and we ask and we request these different things of people, work in your gifting, of course, and then just educate along the way. Because I think I'm at my point of frustration where it's just do this, do this, do that, do this. First of all, realize who you're talking to, and then help to educate them and help to see where they're coming from and do things like that. That's where I'm at with it. It's not that, you know, just don't holler at me, go vote. Explain to me that, because you don't know where I'm at in that voting process. You know, stuff like that. Don't be like, just go, you need to go protest. You need to be standing. Explain to me that. Like in the same way, we need to be doing that for each other. Like you said, that she got comfort talking to her grandmother. Have the conversations. Talk to the people, see where they're at, see what they need to know. I'm not going to put on my page, go vote, and not be able to tell them these are the candidates that we're looking at, and this is why we're looking at them, and this is what we believe they can do for us in the community and in the political system. Like, so, I don't know.
No, but there's a lot of value to that, because I mean, that's the messaging right now. You know, I hear the one side is saying that, you know, why people wasn't out, you know, they're out there, make sure all they're registered to vote. I'm like, what does that have to do with this? Like, those are two totally different issues. Yeah, we want them all to be registered, people to vote, but they're not out there for a voter registration event. You know, they're out there to communicate or to protest the injustices that are happening. So these are two separate things, voter registration versus that. So we're trying to detract from that, and you hear that from both sides. I read an article, it was an excerpt from the AJC, and where a local politician said that there was a group of young teenagers attempting to vandalize the Target in the Atlantic Station area. And he was, it was early in the morning, and he lived in that area, and he's a council person, not quite sure all the details, but he went down and tried to buffer the teens and the police. And he was like, you know, why are you all doing this to our city? You know, why are you coming to our Target, you know, and trying to vandalize it at 4 a.m. in the morning? Tell me how is that actually, this protest is, you know, honoring, you know, the memory of Floyd, of Aubrey, of Breonna Taylor, of, you know, all that. Explain to me. And one of the young men was like, first of all, this ain't our city. Let's be honest. I'm here in Atlantic Station. I don't live here. This ain't my city. So I make $19,000 a year. That's what he said. So I can't even live here in this city.
Or shop here.
So let's not get it twisted that, you know, people like, I can't believe they burning down their city, stuff like that. No, they're not burning down East Point, College Park, Clayton County. You know, it's Atlanta is a little bit different, and Atlanta has changed.
And if some more truths be told, they're not burning down their city, because unfortunately, some of their cities are already burnt down.
Right.
They already living in the hood of the hood.
And to bring it even further, you're coming to take the parts of the city that we do have that you deemed unlivable or uninhabitable, where there was no resources. Now the bankhead getting smaller and smaller, and it's becoming the ideal place to live with $500,000 homes. So I can't even have what I did have. So,
ouch.
So, and that was go to my point. I was like, I feel like I'm someone who is educated, who is being smart with her resources. I can't afford to live in the city of Atlanta.
Me neither.
I can't.
I don't think
I can't.
Most of us live.
I can't afford it. I had to purchase a home on the outskirts.
Wow.
Because I wanted to live in the city. I couldn't afford it.
That's right.
So, like, let's stop perpetuating that people are burning down their city because they don't live there.
Graphics with Atlanta, it's becoming less and less colored. Period. And the reality is the same Atlanta that we are living right now, that grandparents lived and great-grandparents live, will not be the same ones that grandchildren and grandchildren live in. The same communities that we felt free walking around in will not be the same communities that they'll even be welcomed in. That's the reality. And just like you said, the living in Atlanta, what does that really mean for everybody? Just like you said, some people living in 30318, which is one of our high service zone for homelessness, landlords that are just slumlords, where that's the point, to make you move so that they can take over that land and then flip it, and all of a sudden it's worth like gold. Those people don't have the same life or the same living that all these people that we're so worried about target in Atlantic Station. I wish people had that same amount of passion for the person that died. Someone lost their son, father, someone died, not just someone, many people.
Many.
And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're doing something wrong. It doesn't matter if you're in your home. It doesn't matter what is going on. This is the real issue. And if you're not dying on these streets or in your home, then you're going to a prison system with football time sentences and dying in a system. That is why people are out there vandalizing, because they feel like trying to take a knee didn't work because we became son of a bees. I mean, let's just be real. They want their voice heard and they want change.
So, yeah.
I was gonna say, I think it's that simple. And again, I might have a whole "this is me" moment. I've been at points in my life where I've been so angry that I've blacked out. I don't know what happened, what I said. And when I came to, I was like, oh, we in a blackout. These folks are so mad. Like, none of the logic comes into play when you get so mad that you black out. And some of these people are there.
What was that movie with Halle Berry? I think it was Taken or something, where they took her son.
They took her son. I didn't watch it, but yeah.
That's what people are dealing with. When you're taking something that I love away from me, everything is gonna go out of the window. When you go sit here, please come help me. She's going to police officers trying to tell him my son. Everybody's ignoring her. She took matters into her own hand at that point. That's where we're at. Imagine if you were in a park and some stranger walk up to one of your babies and start pulling them and dragging them. You're gonna act first and talk later. Strategy gonna come into place after you trying to hurt somebody and get them up off your baby. This is right now, you may not know one of these people. Right now, you may not have been affected. Right now, you may not, it may still be just the color of your skin that makes you identify with what's going on in the world. But one day it will be at our doorsteps. One day it'll be so close to you that you won't be able to get away from it. And then it will be your issue. And I would love to see how people will respond when it's them. This is a powerful thing that's happening right now. And I think when we look at the fact that it is murder by people that are supposed to make sure that we are safe, that are supposed to serve us, and these people are murdering people and nothing is happening. You can have a little boy walking through a neighborhood unarmed, die, and then the same person profit off of it and sue their parents. Okay. What's logical about that?
So, we all have 3 different opinions, and all of them are correct. None of them are wrong. And I think
That's
that
right.
what it shows is that it goes through your own personal lens. The name of
That's
our thing.
right.
The name. So for me, my lens is that, I I have to think in a way that what can we do that I don't have to this conversation with my nieces when they're my age.
Right.
Mm.
So I cannot think about strategy. I cannot. And that, I have to think of, I'm just not a person that thinks about tomorrow. I think about years down the road. That's just how I think. What do we have to come up with that we're
That's right.
not renewing the Voting Rights Act every time it expires and they tack on another couple of years?
Come on.
That's done. So, I mean, that's how I think. And I started thinking about, okay, so how do I work in my community? So
That's right.
if you are someone, do you know who represents you on your school board? Do you know your council people? Do you know, if you're have a homeowner association, do you go to the meetings? All these different things about that right here in your own little circle that you
Right.
have influence on, your circle of influence. How can you impart your influence on your circle? That's strategy to me. That's pretty much strategy because
That's right.
when it dies down, and it will, I don't want people going back and doing the same thing. I just
And that's
don't.
when the new group needs to take of the strategists and the thinkers and the ones that put all the pieces to the puzzle in place. That's when you guys take over. So it's just like, I know you, Naya. Naya, you need more. You're a teacher. You have a teacher personality. You're the type of person that has all the resources. So jump in. Say thank you for bringing a lens to what's happened. Thank you for bringing a national recognition to what's happened, a national noise. You've created enough thunder. Now I know how to go in and clear all the debris. Just like you, Elena, you know when people are in crisis, how to be able to say, hold up, wait a minute. I know how to be able to comfort you, to calm you down, how to bring reason to everything. Do that. Every piece is needed. They're all different, and they may be needed at different seasons and different times. But if we all allow each other to work together, whatever way that may, there was a time when Malcolm and Martin had to come together and have a conversation. That's what we're looking for. Can we come together and have a conversation without us somebody saying, well, you should have did this and you should have did it this way and you could have did more. Can we come together and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, because every little bit helps.
And on that note, I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to hear from Naya, who sits back and thinks and takes time to put pen to paper, and to close us out with something she wrote in 2012.
Yes,
Is that correct?
2012.
And here we are 8 years later, and it's just as poignant and relevant today as it was then. So take it away, Naya, close us out.
Stereotype. Just because my skin is brown, I automatically fit your profile. Add to that some jeans that are blue, then the focus shifts to me instead of what's true. Now to those, add a jacket with a hood, then picture me walking through your neighborhood. A basic outfit that anyone can wear, but since my skin is brown,
Take your
you right
time.
here. You see down, I fit the stereotype that's in the media and overly hyped. A gangster, a thug, a threat to you. But I'm the one you put a bullet through. Just because my skin is brown, I automatically fit your profile. Stereotype. I got a little choked up in there. Y'all saw that. Because it's real. Like,
It's real.
It's real.
It's real.
Nothing but this.
That's it.
This thing is so deep and so beyond whatever we could do in these few minutes. I so love my sisters. I love having the chance to come together and to attempt to express myself because I'm still so caught up. It's real, y'all. And it's so much deeper than this, and so much work on so many levels has to be done.
Right. But I know that we have different opinions, so to speak, as it relates to how to go forth. But I'm going to be presumptuous and think that we all can agree that the answer is with our Heavenly Father.
Yes.
Man.
And that He is, when we go to seek the answer on how to protest, on how to strategize, and how to process and educate, we know that all of those answers are going to be found with Him. So we encourage all our viewers and all our friends and families that whatever way that you so feel moved to move, that you move with Him first.
Amen.
And I think that's all we got today.
Amen.
Amen. Love you guys.
Love you, ladies.
All
Love
right.
you, Paula.
Bye.